What's good, everybody? Indrid here, going to be giving you a in-depth guide to Poloma. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn something. I'm going to go through her different skills first, and I'm going to talk about tips and tricks for her skills during it. So if you have played her a little bit, I think it'll still be worth to watch the skills section before I go to the Battlerite section, as I talk about different ways to utilize her skills. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. So first off, we're going to talk about Soul Bowl. I'm not going to just read it. You can read it and see what it does. But basically what this does is her damage and her heal. It's going to put a link on allies, and it's going to put a link on enemies that have allies get shared healing and have enemies take shared damage. So it just increases damage and increases healing across the board, not necessarily to an individual. So the strength of this is that when you hit multiple people, you know, like I said, you heal other people. But the weakness is this is her only heal, and so you cannot heal through anybody or around anybody or over anybody. You have to be able to attack directly into your ally, and so that's one of the big weaknesses of Poloma, is her inability to heal over an enemy, because instead you're going to hit the enemy. So that's something to keep in mind. Her positioning is really important because of that, and you want to make sure that you have your allies back to you as much as you can, so that way you can always be healing your ally. So let me show you the link here if you don't know. As you see, I attack these, and now they're all linked up, and if I attack the middle one, they all take damage. If I attack the side one, I just killed it. Well, when it respawns, I'll show you, but if I were to just attack the side one, I'd only hit one link away. So again, we'll link up. Now as you see, if I attack the right one, only this middle one took damage. Only this middle one took damage. So I attack the middle, and now all three take damage. So that's a little bit of how her soul link works, and that's how it's going to work too with healing. You gotta look at who's the one. How are they linked in a way that they're all going to receive healing? If you just hit one of them, they're not all going to receive healing. You need to hit the person who's the connection between the two. So next is Other Side. And Other Side is a great tool to mitigate damage and to reposition. And so when you cast it, you go into the other side, which means you cannot be hit by anything, and you can actually pass through enemies and allies. So it makes you immaterial. I'm going to put no cooldowns on, sorry. And I'm going to put infinite energy on, but we won't necessarily need that. So when you click it, you see I'll pass through them. I'd also pass through allies. So it's a great tool for repositioning. Now, starting off, it doesn't heal, doesn't do anything. It's just strictly for repositioning and avoiding damage. Something to keep in mind with the other side is that when you click this, when you're in the other side, you have that countdown bar right there. You can't take damage, as I said before, but what that means is you can't take delayed damage either. So if you're in other side, when Croak Ultimate is about to explode or Deadly Injection from Lucy is about to explode, things of that nature, you will not take damage from them. So be sure to use that wisely on yourself and on your teammates. And so next is going to be Spirit Guide, which you'll see actually makes like a little spirit for you. That's your Spirit Guide. And if you recast it, you go to it. And so first, when she's traveling to that, again, it's like Other Side. You can't take damage while you're in that travel state. So keep that in mind. But what it does is it heals allies, and it does damage to enemies, and it actually pushes back enemies. So as you see, boom, it pushes them back. So the thing that it's good to use is if you're getting pressured by a melee, I like to use it to push them away, and then I can M1 them a little bit and put a little bit of pressure on them in a way that they can't do damage. If I'm getting pressured by a ranged, a lot of times what I'll try to do is cast it to an ally, so it'll link to the ally, and then that way I can use it again to teleport to my ally for safety. If I don't have that option, I will just use it again to kind of put it over there. I'm dueling with this person, and then I'll try to get away and try to get back to my allies as much as I can. I think it's a great repositioning tool, and it's a great heal. Make sure to work it in when you're just M1ing your teammates. You're sitting there just M1, 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 M1. Don't be afraid to throw a space every now and then on them to heal them, to help keep them up if they're taking a lot of damage. Because if they're taking that much damage, they need to get a space. You're likely not going to be the one getting pressured. And then if you are getting pressured, what you do then is you just cast Other Side on yourself, and then you run towards your ally, and you get close to your ally. So those are a little bit of things that I try to keep in mind. And then her EX space is actually really good. And what it does is when it hits a target, they'll switch spots with them. So that is really good, because if you're out of position and trying to get back to your teammate, you can cast that hidden enemy, do damage to the enemy, get the enemy out of position, and now you're in position to help your team. The other piece to that is it can pull an ally out of super threat. You can come in, use your fear, and now all of a sudden there's a big swing in the fight, and then you can heal back up, reposition, etc. The other thing is when you're traveling in that time is you can't take damage again. So if you're at a Croak ult and you and your ally maybe have it on you and you can't other side him and space away, just use your EX space on them. Whoops, as I missed that. Use your EX space on them and you'll both mitigate the Croak ultimate. So that's a good use of that. So moving on to the Spirit Rift. Spirit Rift is a skill that if somebody is casting a skill anytime that they have this debuff on or they're channeling, they'll get feared. As you see, that's called panic in this. And so basically they run away from you. I really like that skill. It's a great peel for yourself. Make sure not to miss it, because if you miss it, you're going to be taking a lot of pressure. And so one of the ways I really like using it is that I'll fear them and then immediately cast my Ghost Wolf into them, and it just makes it a little bit easier to land your wolf. Her EX version of it is actually quite good, and what it does is it will do that, and if it hits and fears, it heals you. So it can be quite good when dueling or when you're taking a little bit of pressure. It's another way for you to get a little bit of self-heal, because again, you can't self-heal yourself with your M1. You have to hit a teammate, and that teammate then has to heal you through Spirit Link. So Ghost Wolf is the next one. It hits 3 targets and deals damage to those targets, and then it also puts the link on them, as you see. So they're taking damage. For whatever reason, it just hit those 2, didn't hit the 3, which is no big deal. But that is what the Ghost Wolf does. So what I'd like to do, as I said before, is I'll cast a fear, knock them away. They start running this way, and so as soon as they start running that way, I'll cast the wolf, hit them, and link their team. And it's a good way to kind of ensure that you hit the wolf. Sometimes when you're dueling, you're just going to have to throw the wolf out there and try to hit somebody, but it's a bit harder to do that, to be honest. So it's okay. I mean, you just got to work at it, practice, and get better at landing those wolves when possible. So Pixie is her R, and Pixie comes out and she mimics your Soul Bolt. And so what that will allow you to do is a little bit more burst damage and a little bit more burst healing. And so if you don't have your ultimate and you see that you're taking a lot of pressure and you want to dissuade that Croak from being on your face, you can push him back, drop your Pixie, and do quite a bit of damage to him, and that is going to really dissuade him from trying to come back at you. The other thing you can do is if your teammate is really taking a lot of pressure and you don't have your ultimate, you just use that, heal him up, and it'll help increase his chance of living, because you're doing more healing. It's not double, it's a reduced amount, but it's still better than nothing. And then her ultimate, which will come over here, is you see will do AoE damage, AoE healing, and is really strong. Does a lot of damage and a lot of healing. The other little trick about it that a lot of people don't realize is it other sides you for a second. So watch my character, I'll other side for a second. And what that means is I can avoid damage and I can avoid an attack while casting my ultimate. So that can really cause a big swing. Maybe there's a snipe coming at you from Jade, and you cast your ultimate on yourself, you dodge the snipe, and then you heal up for quite an amount. And if you had a melee on you, you're going to do a lot of damage and a lot of healing and avoid a snipe. There's just a lot you can do with that, so make sure to use that wisely. So I'm going to transition over to the Battlerites. If you have any questions about the skills, be sure to leave a comment so that way I can address them. But to me, the round 1 is a no-brainer. So you have Ghost Wolf roots, you have the next bolt does more damage, which I think is really terrible. And then you have the Joyful Spirit, which allows your other side to become a heal. And I always select that one. So as you see here, you go other side. When you come out, there's that area around you that does an AoE heal. It's so important because it allows you to self-heal when you're taking pressure, but also it allows you to heal an ally as they're out of position. They're kind of coming back into position, and they're able to heal. That's your only heal over an enemy or anything like that, right? Because you can't shoot your soul bolt around somebody. So to me, it's really important. And then plus, if you have a couple people soul linked, they get near each other, they all hit that AoE heal. That's a huge AoE heal because you're all getting hit for the heal and then sharing a heal. Round number 2, you have Into the Realm, which other side movement speed increased. You have Phantasm, which is 50% of damage taken when you have the soul guide on you is absorbed. And then you have affection, which is the ghost wolf heals you at the end. And to be honest, I think it's between affection and phantasm. I think both of these are quite strong depending upon the situation. And that's the thing with these Battlerites is you want to adjust to the opponents. You want to adjust to what your teammates are doing. And so I typically pick one of those two. Right now I've been picking the Ghost Wolf a little bit more. But I might be switching back because I've been doing a lot better with my positioning. So I haven't been taking as much pressure. So it would have been better to do damage mitigation onto my allies than to have the self-heal. But when I'm taking a ton of pressure, I like having the heal. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. And it's hard because you really only have one round to decide. Are you going to be taking a lot of pressure this game? Or are your teammates going to be taking most of the pressure? So in my opinion, it's between one of those two. And just pick whichever one feels right. So round 3 is the Spiritual Wind, which after you cast your Q, you move faster. Revenant, which is the same thing as the one before with your space. However, this time it's to the enemies. So if you hit an enemy with it, they take more damage. And then Pixie does full damage instead of partial damage with her soul bolts. And so since this one costs energy, you know, it's based on your R and takes energy, I don't often get this one. I do on the champions where it refunds the energy. I think that can be quite strong. But I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll get Pixie and sometimes I'll get the Spiritual Wind. This one, you know, I'm not super worried about people dying faster usually because I already have the Spirit Link. My teammates should already be doing pretty decent damage. I'm there to, you know, sustain my team, to put out a little bit of damage with Ghost Wolf, and every now and then put an M1 on somebody when I'm trying to heal or when I'm taking huge pressure. So I'm not super worried about them taking more damage with that. If you're really coordinated, it might help. But so I usually get this if I'm getting super highly pressured and I want to queue and be able to run back to my team. Every now and then I'll get this if I feel like that I'm winning my duels and I want to win my duels harder. So I've been taking the Spiritual Wind though recently more, but again, it's going to be up to you and your playstyle a little bit. And then here's another one where it's just that the links do better job linking and you get to pick which one, but I think Soul Theft is the best. It's going to help your dueling again because you're going to be doing damage to them, you're going to be doing more healing. Again, it's that repositioning tool that allow them to come back, and it also helps your teammates dueling do better. So they'll be able to, you know, other side, if they're M1 trading, you other side them, they can go through, do damage, be healed, they can hit cancel, you know, to cancel it now. They get healed even more, and they go back to M1 trading. It can just be a big swing, and I think it's really worth getting. And then lastly, I just think this is again a no-brainer. I think you got to get Equilibrium because you rarely hit your second hit of the ultimate, in my opinion, because most people are going to be able to walk out, jump out, you know, use their skills out, other side, whatever it is, to get out of the second hit. And there are occasions where it does hit. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's just more consistent that you're going to be able to hit the first one, and that first one is going to put the shared damage and the shared healing on there. And so for me, it's just much wiser and much better to get this one because it's more consistent. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that as we went through the Battlerites and we went through some skills and a little bit of how to use the skills and a few ways to kind of help. I'm going to show you guys about a round or two at the end of this and talk about what I'm doing and why to hopefully help you understand it even deeper. All right, guys, have a good one. Alright, so here's a round of me playing that I wanted to share with you guys to hopefully show a little bit of what I talked about. I did grab the other side heal, and then I grabbed the wolf heal. You can see immediately in this round, I link up my teammates, even though nothing has really happened, because I want to, it's the moment something happens, I want to be able to heal up all of them. So I'm trying to use my space there to connect to my Taya, just misses. So I just keep M1ing, and as I try to position myself so I can hit a fear, which I do, which breaks pretty quickly though because he took damage, which is not a big deal. We get the orb, and now I'm trying to re-heal everyone up. I'll use the other side to reposition them back. Accidentally steal those health orbs, that was silly of me. But we get her back up pretty high, which is good. And so their Poloma comes in and fears us. And I fear her back and hit her with the wolf there. So that's what I was talking about before, where you fear into wolf. And then I dropped my ultimate to try and heal there, but it just missed her. And so again, I'm trying to keep my links up. You saw I threw one at Taya there. I use other side to reposition myself. I come in, hit fear again. There's the wolf and just out of range. But if I would have cast the wolf quicker, I would have got that. So you got to remember that fear wolf combo is really good. So I come in here, I use a space to come in, there's the fear, there's the wolf, and the wolf actually hits her twice to get the kill. So again, trying to change my targets with my M1s, trying to keep them up, use the other side to get the AoE heal now that they're linked. I should have stopped M1ing here so I could have got around the corner a little bit quicker, but that's just like a little nuance. And then again, I have them linked, so I'm hitting who I can to heal up both teammates. Drop my ultimate again to do the AoE heal, and the ultimate ends up doing the bit of damage, and that's how you try to play Poloma. Hope that helps out, guys, as you see it in action. Good luck there in the arena. Hope to see you soon.